2 Timothy 4. I charge thee therefore before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all longsuffering and doctrine. For the time will come, when they will not endure sounder doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.
Months up, not how the Israelites set the months up, and we're going to run it down. So I read the page 2, I guess. I don't have page numbers.
Okay. That first paragraph.
Yes, sir.
The order of the sun and moon and the planets and the naming of the weekdays may at first seem strange. An explanation has been provided by Dio Cassius, a Christian historian of the 3rd century. According to Cassius, astrologers assigned the 24 hours of every day of the week to the 7 moving celestial objects in a specific cyclic sequence: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, which is simply in decreasing order for their sidereal periods. In such fashion, Saturn was assigned the 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd hours of the first day, and the first hour of the second day fell to the sun.
All he's saying is they broke the hours down by the planets. So the first hour and the 8th and the 15th went to Saturn. And not only did they do that with the hours of the day, let's continue, they did it with the months, with the weekdays too.
Each day of the week was then named in honor of the planet to which its first hour was assigned, yielding the current sequence: Saturn, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, as summarized in Table 5. Roman calendars have been preserved that show the assignment of the 12 hours of each day and night to the 7 planets as described by Cassius. The hours assigned to the different planets were understood to be good, which means bona.
That's all we need.
Okay.
Do y'all see where it says each weekday was then named in honor of the planet to which its first hour was assigned? So the weekday starts with Saturn, the next day is Sunday, the next day is Moon Day. So originally, copied off the Babylonians, the first day of the week for them was Saturday. Saturn's day. How can you say Saturday, every Saturday is Shabbat when it's bought from Babylon, and for them, Saturn started their week? You see, we're starting to have a problem.
Benjamin.
Every Saturday is not the Shabbat, and we didn't follow, even though those of us in Babylon, yes, we eventually, after they started outlawing us from tracking the new moon, we just fell in line with Babylon. But every Saturday can't be the 7th day if it started off being the first day.
That's right.
Now, before we go on, let's finish this up. Let's finish this up, and then we get to that book you got. More proofs?
More proof of Babylonian practices. Babylonian
Ologies and Semitic count. This is also available online, free of charge. You know what? Go ahead and read it. This is a book called Babylonian genealogies and Semitic calendars. And Daniel, when that hand came on the wall, and that hand wrote that phrase, and they couldn't read it, and Daniel came and read it, and Daniel says it's saying mene, mene, and Babylonian or Phoenician mene, mene means I'm counting. That's where we get the word mene from. So that hand wrote mene, mene, and Daniel says your days have been numbered or counted. So this book is all about how the Babylonians counted. Read, and Shemitic too, you know that's us.
It is clear that the first day of the month was originally a day of rest and fasting. So were 7, 9, 14, 19, 21, 28, 29, 30. Undoubtedly, these mark stages in the phenomena of the moon, the first quarter, full moon, first quarter of the old moon, day of the moon's disappearance, that is 7, 14, 21, 28, are clearly moon phases. In the 7th century, days 1, 9, 29, 30 were dropped. Days 7, 14, 19, 21, 28 became the rest days in all the months.
Again, this verifies that even Babylon, and we were with Babylon, they used the moon to track their cycles. So when the continuous cycle people say that they don't break their count for the moon, all the people of the East use that crescent to break their count. But the point we're going to make here, when you drop your 7th day on 14, 21, 28, you're following Babylon. You're following the ways of Babylon. And according to my understanding how they present it, they saying their Sabbath can't move. It always has to fall on Saturday. We just went over how Saturday was the beginning of the week. Following Babylon has us off kilt. Amen?
Amen.
So you have a book there, and Family Online, I apologize. I couldn't find a PDF. This book is called Rest Days. Rest Days by Hutton, Webster, is it?
Yes.
This book is called Rest Days. For the sake of time, I can't keep pulling up tabs because we'll be here forever. We're just going to verify what he just said. Let's start about the planetary weeks, 215.
Okay.
Start with 215. And this is just going to confirm about the planetary weeks coming from Babylon. Start here and then go over to 218, just reading the highlighted portion.
Okay.
So this is another source. This is called Rest Days by Hutton Webster. Hutton Webster Rest Days. And you can find this online. I think it's reprinted for like $10.
The planetary week, an institution which has spread eastward over the Oriental world and westward into Europe. If the planets are grouped according to their distance from the Earth, beginning with the highest and descending into the lowest, we obtain the following order: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon.
Again, this source is confirming that originally Saturn started the week. Read it one more time out.
Okay. If the planets are grouped according to their distance from the Earth, beginning with the highest and descending to the lowest, we obtain the following order: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon.
So we're not going to beat a dead horse. Multiple sources, and you can do your own research, multiple sources confirm that originally the planetary weeks are a product of Babylon, and originally Saturn started the week. Now on your page, you see that image of those 7 planets, or some of them, I think they're all 7 planets or 7 stars. So you can't read that because the image is small. But this came from a book, also available free of charge online. Those inside the bio has a handout. Sister Barbara, can you read the writing on the? Can you read that out? Is the writing online? Is it legible here? On that, can you read it?
Yeah, I can read it.
So, family, that picture, you see those the bust of the heads inside that boat. This is from a book called Sunday in Roman Paganism. This is from a book called Sunday in Roman Paganism, And it's a Google book, free of charge. You can download this. And this is where this image came from. And also, if you don't have Two Babylons is a free PDF. And that author is Alexander Hislop. He is a Roman Catholic. And once he traveled abroad, he threw Rome under the bus, telling on his own self, saying everything we're doing in Rome, we stole from Babylon. So get this book, Sunday in Roman Paganism, and download Two Babylons, and you're going to see everything Rome do, they got from Babylon, they just added their own flavor on it. So this image is the images of the planets and stars in a boat. Can you read that for us, the caption?
This small bronze boat of Roman times was discovered at Montpellier, France, and has been preserved in a collection of antiquities gathered by M. Bon, first president of the French Republic. It shows the planetary gods in the order of days of the astrological week, from right to left: Saturn, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus.
So going right to left, Saturn starts first. Why are they reading right to left, family? Go ahead, bring it out, Berean. This is brought from Babylon. The Babylonians or Phoenicians or Canaanites, we were right there. Everybody in the East reads from right to left. The Greeks, the one flipped everything, got us reading left to right. So this image, you start on the right, that first little head is Saturn. It's Saturn. So let's turn the page over and see what happened when Rome got hold of this stuff. What page are you on?
Still on 216.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Okay. How, it may be asked, did such an arrangement arise? This question has been answered for us by the Roman historian Dio Cassius, who interrupts his narrative of the victorious campaign of Pompey the Great in Palestine to furnish a brief account of the planetary week.
So Dio Cassius was running down how Pompey took down Palestine, which is Israel, and he took a break from that history to show us how the planetary weeks got started.
Want to continue?
Yeah, you can jump over to 218.
Well, there's some marked on 217.
Okay, go ahead.
The second explanation given by Dio Cassius and also by Vettius Valens is connected with the astrological theory of Chronos
was one of their gods, that's all.
Okay. Which assigned to the several planets dominion over hours and days as periods of time. If the day is divided into 24 hours, each hour is ascribed in turn to the several planets: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Then Saturn will preside over the first, 8th, 15th, and 22nd hours of the first day.
So he's verifying, this is another source verifying that Saturn starts the first hour of the first day. So Saturn rules the first day and the first hour and the 8th hour. So Saturn again starts their week. You can't say Saturday or Saturn's day is the Sabbath for us Hebrews when originally Saturn was the first day of the week. Now for the sake of time, let's jump over to page 218. I think it's a little bit more highlighted. Just anything that's highlighted yellow, we'll read it. And again, family, he's reading from a book. It was out of print, but a publisher reprinted it. This is called Rest Days. Rest Days by Hutton, Webster.
The earliest evidence for the planetary naming of the weekdays is found in 2 inscriptions from Pompeii. Of these, the first gives all the names of the planetary deities in their Greek form. The second, the names in their more familiar Latin form, except for the accidental omission of Wednesday: Saturni, Solis, Lunae, Martis, Jovis, Veneris. Indications that the planetary week was known and used during the 2nd century AD.
So Rome has the planetary weeks now. Read them again, Op. Saturni, Saturn,
Solus,
Sunday,
Lunae,
Monday,
Martis,
Wednesday. Well, Wednesday was omitted, so that's
Monday.
The Martes will be, who has Spanish? Martes is Tuesday, right? Miércoles is Wednesday. So Martes is Tuesday, because he said Wednesday was omitted, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday was omitted, so Martes is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Jovis
is Thursday.
Veneris.
Viernes is Friday. You hear the Spanish people at the job say, Viernes, Feliz Viernes, Happy Friday. So here's another source confirming when Rome copied off Babylon, they had Saturday too as the start of the week. Everybody's with us? Now let's go back. Let's leave that for the sake of time. Let's go back to the document. And for me, I don't know. The bottom of the page has the two strongest points, whatever page that is.
Page 3.
So we're on page 3 of the handout. We're going to start at the top of the page with days. Days are so-called. So just to recap, we got multiple witnesses that Saturn started the week for the Babylonians and the Romans too. Now what we're about to go over is how when Rome got it, they eventually flipped it. Read.
Days, in parentheses, are so called from the gods Deus, ablative, plural dis, whose names the Romans conferred upon certain astral bodies. For they named the first day from the sun, which is the chief of all the astral bodies, just as the day is the head of all the days. The second day is named from the moon, which is the closest to the sun in brilliance and size, and it borrows its light from the sun. The third from the star of Mars, called Vesper. The fourth from the star of Mercury, which some call the White Circle. The fifth from the star of Jupiter, which they call Phaeton or Phaeton. The sixth from the star of Venus, which they name Lucifer, which has the most light of all the stars. The seventh from the star of Saturn, which is placed in the sixth heaven, is said to run its course in 30 years.
So now, eventually, sometime down the road, after copying off Babylon, now they're going to switch their calendar and put Saturn to the end. But just because you put Saturn to the end of your pagan calendar, don't make it a holy Shabbat for the Hebrews. Con? So let's finish that next paragraph.
The status of Sunday as the first day of the planetary week, rather than Saturday, could be due either to Jewish and then Christian influence, or to the circumstance that the sun became the principal Roman state god as Sol Invictus or Mithras under Aurelian and Tetrarchy. Thus, the Oxford Companion mentions that Constantine did not refer to Sunday as the Lord's Day or the Sabbath, but as the day celebrated by veneration of the sun itself. This is consistent with other indications that Constantine did not abruptly abandon the solar cult despite his establishment of Christianity.
We're going to get into this when we expose Christianity and get into the months. But what this source is telling you, Constantine didn't care about nothing about the Sabbath anyway. They're sun worshipers, so he put the day of the sun at the beginning of the week, and then his advisors just said, hey, well, the Hebrews got, and we're captives in Rome and all over Europe, the Hebrews got a Sabbath, just throw Saturday towards the end, because by this time, in Babylon, we had started following the Babylonian calendar, and he was like, okay, in Babylon, Saturday's the end of the week, so now we got our Sunday, just fix the other calendar and just throw Saturday's day at the end and call it the 7th. Just because you put syrup on pancakes, or y'all get it. Figure it out when you get home. But, so we got multiple sources that Saturn was the first day of the week in Babylon and Rome, and then Constantine comes on the scene and says, no, I'm a sun worshiper, and sometimes they call the sun by the name Mithra. So the first day of our week is going to be Sol Invictus. The point we need is you can't say that your continuous cycle of 7 days always going to have Saturday, and we know Saturday never started the week from the origins of it. Con.
Con.
Okay. So now what we're gonna do? Everybody got their phones with us? Sister Barb, you got your phone?
Yes.
I want everybody, those online too, you can participate with us, please, and unmute your microphones when you do it. I want you to take your phones out, and I want you to Google Saturday 2045. Google Saturday 2045. Saturday the year 2045.
Do you have a tab open for that?
Good idea.
Why? I just put.
You got one?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Just right there.
No, you already there?
Here, let me put the cursor up for you. And then. Okay.
You got
It's going?
Mm-hmm.
is that a G in front?
Oh yeah, you put a G in front of Saturday.
I'm good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm
You
good.
got a blank one
Start
now.
over.
Saturday. 2045. You good?
Yep.
So everybody had a chance to Google Saturday 2045. What you come up with?
October 28th.
October 28th. So according to the
Oh, okay.
we got discrepancies.
No, we good.
So Saturday in the year of 2045 is going to be when?
October 28th.
October 28th. And according to the continuous cycle understanding, that Saturday is a Shabbat because the Saturdays always fall on Shabbat. I mean, their Saturday is always Shabbat. What day of the week is that? What number day is that? The 28th, you said?
Mm-hmm.
So that lines up. When they're following Babylon, their Saturdays are 7, 21, 28, and I missed one, right?
7, 14, 21, 28.
So according to the continuous cycle, it's always going to be 7, 14, 21, and 28. It's always going to be a Saturday, right?
Right.
How do we get this? How did Google know this? How did Google know this? Google algorithm. Google knew this by calculations. So now let's go back to our scrolls and let's get better sheet 1 and 14, I believe. Let's get Genesis or better sheet 1 and 14. Shema, when you have it.
Shema.
Genesis 1 and 14.
Shema.
Shema, read.
And the Most High said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years."
So did he say calculate to get your Shabbats?
No.
Did he say calculate to get your years?
No.
What gives us our years?
Day and night.
How do we get our days and nights?
The sign is for
The luminaries of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
There's no calculations. And then again, remember, you can't forget all the previous classes we go over. Because remember, our culture is tied together like a quick weave. So we got to teach this to little Benjamin and Yuri back there. We can't be telling Yuri, hey, calculate, daddy's about to pass away, I'm going to my father's and I need you to learn how to calculate. No, we got to be able to tell baby, you look up at the star and when you wait for that new crescent, there's no calculation. So when you do the calculation and what you're going to learn next week or when we go to months, the math is based on Babylon. The math is based on Babylon. You can't follow Babylon and serve the Elohim, creator of heaven and earth. Con? So let's read the next paragraph after this Google search, the Roman calendar.
What do you want us to do?
That next bullet point under Google Saturday.
Okay. Google Saturday year 2045. This violates the commandments in Genesis 1 and 14. Note, day is listed first, then night.
So again, we're going to address that too before we leave because there's a common understanding that our days start in the evening. But every time you read in the scriptures just about, I think I found it one time where night is mentioned first, but the majority of the scriptures, day is always listed first. Day and night, day and night. So how can our day starts in the evening? Well, almost every time you read it, day is listed first. If the evening started our days, wouldn't our elders wrote evening and night? I mean, evening and day, or night and day. Every time, almost, I think I found it one passage that night was listed first. Every other where is always day and night, day and night. But we're going to save that for last. So, conclusion. I'm sorry. The next bullet point out, the Roman calendar.
The Roman calendar was reformed by Julius Caesar in 46 BC.
What did Daniel record in Daniel chapter 8 or chapter 7 or 8? What did he record? What did the Most High tell Daniel about that fourth beast? He would think to change times and laws. He would think to change time. I got a document from them, from the Latins, that they added years to their calendar. They added years. So the Most High, Daniel was told, this beast coming, he's going to change times and laws. Read Julius Caesar.
The Julian calendar was no longer dependent on the observation of the new moon, but simply followed an algorithm of introducing a leap day every 4 years. This created a dissociation of the calendar month from the lunation.
We got to leave it alone.
Wow.
This violates what the Father told us. The Father said, I give you the luminaries to get your seasons and your days. Once Julius Caesar says, announcing the new moon is forbidden, if Rome had an inkling of being on point with the Most High, once you don't use the luminaries, you can't be in line with the Most High.
That's right.
That's why we say every Saturday is not the set apart, the Kadash. I know every Saturday, like you here today, brothers are going to be getting up streaming the Lord's Day. It's good to be, and it's not for argue. Let's Barak Hashem that he finally let us see that the Sabbath has not been forgotten. Let's not make trivial matters right now molehills. You know it's a Sabbath, hallelujah. Yeshua get us together, and this is not one of these, to me, this is not a deal breaker. If you don't see it, it's all right. If you don't see it, so what? Let's keep it going. As long as you know that our King came in the flesh, was crucified, and he was risen again, and you know that we got to follow law, statutes, commandments, to me, those are 2 points that we have to agree on, or we can't fellowship. This thing about the Sabbath is not a deal breaker for me, my filter. But again, we're seeing Saturday or Saturn's Day is not the set apart Kadash Sabbath. Amen?
Amen.
Let's continue on with the conclusion.
Historically, Saturn's Day was originally the first day of the week and had nothing in common with any Sabbath, Hebrew or otherwise.
Remember, he said Constantine could care less about the seventh day. All he wanted to do was honor the sun. So Saturday or Saturn's Day doesn't mean 7. I think the Latin word for 7 is September. September is based on 7. That's why it's called September. So Saturn means hidden. If you, again, go to studylight.org, type in the word hide, and you're going to come up with a Hebrew word, sathar. Sathar means hidden. Zepho went over to Italy, says, Satanaya, Yah has hidden me from the Israelites. So Saturn has nothing to do with the 7th day. So everybody's good?
Shema.
We're going to have Q&A at the end. If you're online, we'll have Q&A at the end. So now we're going to go over the 2 strongest points that the continuous cycle people have. And me and my aunt, we sharpen each other. We don't bash each other. We've been building with each other for about 4 years now. And this is something I couldn't, when I told him about the lunar Sabbath, he says, well, I can't see it. And so me and him began to research together. And the one point that he brought up in scripture, I said, yeah, I don't know, I gotta keep digging. But me and him didn't break ways like, oh, you ain't in the truth, you don't know what you're talking about. No. If you give some more information to prove your point, give it to me, because me and him, we want the truth. We want the original. We don't care who's right. So for years, I didn't have nothing to answer when he presented this information. Now, all praise to the Father, now I can intelligently present him with some information that proves his point may have some shaky ground. His point may have some shaky. So these are 2 of the strongest points that the pro 7-day Sabbath keepers use. Let's go to 1 Samuel 19. 1 Samuel chapter 19, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 1 Samuel 19, verse 1.
Shema.
Shema, when you have it.
Shema.
1 Samuel 19. I believe it's after Deuteronomy, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry, after Judges. Deuteronomy, Judges, then Samuel.
Shema.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 1. Read.
And Saul spake to Jonathan his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill David.
So the backstory is David done slew Goliath, and now Saul is mad because he saw the sisters. Y'all know, the sisters come on deck. We gotta be tight. So when the sisters come out and start singing and dancing, the sisters say, you can read the backstory. The sisters say, Saul has killed his thousands, David has killed his 10,000. So I'm the king. So now Saul looking at David. So he determined, I'm going to kill David. I'm going to kill David. Now here's the thing. David was just a boy. Well, I don't want to say boy like Benjamin. The scriptures say David was just a lad. Because as Saul was going around looking for the warriors, and Samuel was taking Saul around saying, that's not him. Because Samuel's a prophet, that's not him. And Samuel went to Jesse like, are these all your boys? And Jesse had 6 boys. He said, well, I got one, my youngest in the field. He's a shepherd though. He ain't no warrior. Because coming out of the desert, what was the requirements for all the men of war that the Most High said? Coming out of Egypt, the Most High said, every male 20 and up.
Oh, okay.
So once you hit 20, ain't no choice. You throw his armor on.
Yeah.
So the scripture says David was a lad. They call him a youth. Even Saul was like, he's just but a lad. And David was like, man, listen, I done killed the bear. They try to get, so David let them know, yeah, I ain't no man of war yet, but I ain't no punk neither. So Saul is jealous over, we got to say at least 19, the oldest we can say. Saul's a grown man. You've been anointed king of Israel. You're jealous of a 19-year-old kid. So that's the backstory. Saul is jealous. He's telling his sons, I'm going to kill David, okay? So let's drop down to verse 18. Verse 18.
So David fled and escaped and came to Samuel to Ramah and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and dwelt in Naioth.
So that confirms David's on the run from Saul. Amen.
Amen.
Verse 24.
And he stripped off his clothes also and prophesied before Samuel in like manner, and lay down naked all that day and all the night. Wherefore they say, is Saul also among the prophets?
I wanted the scripture because, again, it's another example. Day is listed first. And on your own time, Saul sends men to go kill David, and the Most High, that's Sister Barbara, this is a continuation of our conversation last week. We don't fear these nations. You can track my cell phone. You can put drones over my house. When I pray to the Most High and ask him to forgive me my sins, anything I did that day is gone, and boom, I don't fear you. Come what may. Listen, we don't fear no man. So Saul sends men to go kill David, and the Most High had these men prophesying to David. And David was like, so now Saul's like, y'all can't do nothing. Let me go. I'm going to show you how to get work done. So Saul goes to kill David. The Most High make him strip naked and prophesy to him. So when you're chosen, the devil can't touch you. That's why we're chosen. We're Israel. The devil can't touch us if there's no sin among. That's why I'm constantly, throughout your day, forgive me, help me. Like that song says, thank you, Father. Because you don't know. I remember it's short. You could have did something at 19 years old. That's the age of accountability. Mm-hmm. And you didn't repent for it because you think you forgot about it. That's why we constantly forgive me for all my sins. So here goes Saul coming to kill David. The Most High make him strip down naked and prophesy to my chosen. And they saying, is Saul a prophet too? That's why I wanted to read this. When you're chosen, we don't fear nobody. Trump, any of them. Come what may. I'm going to get a couple of y'all on the way out though. Oh, praise to God. Oh, praise. We don't fear these nations, family. We don't fear these nations. So this confirms David's on the run. So now I'm going to show you how they say the new moon has nothing to do with the Shabbat. I'm going to show you how they say this. Let's go to 1 Samuel 20 and verse 5. Samuel 20 and 5.
Shema.
Shema. Read.
And David said unto Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, but let me go, and I may hide myself in the field until the third day at even.
New moon is coming, and David is saying, let me go hide in the woods for 3 days. So he's talking to Jonathan, Saul's son. Jonathan loves David. Like, I see you're a good person. So Jonathan is defying his father and making a pact with David. So the pact is going to be, listen, I'm going to stay out here in the woods for tomorrow is new moon day. So I'm going to stay out here for 3 days till I get word from you. Have your father, subsided with his anger? Did he forgive me or whatever? Or is he intent on killing me? So let's read what happens. So new moon is coming. David's going to hide in the woods for 3 days. Let's drop down to verse 24. Verse 24.
So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat.
New moon is here. David's in the woods, right? So now you count new moon as one of your 3 days, because he said I'm going to hide 3 days. So you count new moon as one of your days David's hiding. I'm going to hide for 3 days. New moon's here. David's hiding. Come? So let's drop down what we need now. Verses 34 through 35. I'm sorry, verse 27. Verse 27.
And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, Wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today?
So, if you don't know our history and our culture, this is when you get lost. So, if it's bad weather and we can't confirm the new moon, we have another day, as long as it's not over 30 days. None of our months run 31 days. This 31 days is all Roman. We know our months are either 29 or 30. So according to our customs, if it's cloudy weather and the witnesses haven't confirmed the new moon by the 30th, the Sanhedrin priest is going to declare it's a new moon day. So now this is the second day of the month. This is the second of the month. David is hiding. He's been hiding for the new moon. And actually, we could start the day before the new moon, if we really want to count. But we'll be fair and say new moon, David is hiding. The second of the month, he still hasn't come to eat with the king. Day 2, he's hiding. Come. So let's drop down now to verse 34 to 35.
So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger, and did eat no meat the second day of the month. For he was grieved for David, because his father had done him shame.
This confirms we're still day 2 of the month, okay? So let's drop down to 1 Samuel 21 and 1.
We got one more.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm speed shifting.
And it came to pass in the morning that Jonathan went out in the field, and at the time appointed with David, and a little lad with him.
So now we got concrete proof that it's the 3rd day of the month, right? The new moon came, David was in the woods. The second day, he still didn't come to meet. Now it says in the morning, the 3rd day, Jonathan goes to David. It's the 3rd day of the month. Jonathan is going to David. Shema? Okay, so now we got our time frame. Let's go to Samuel 21 and 1. 1 Samuel 21 and 1. And this is walking down how they say new moon has nothing to do with the Sabbath. This is how they get that understanding.
Then came David to Nob, to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone, and no man with thee?
So let's pause here, and there's a tab for a map. There's a tab for a map, I believe, the map of Nob. You see it?
Yes.
So family, is the screen still sharing? Is the screen still sharing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget. All right. I don't think. Okay, no one's in there. Cool. So on your screen, you can see this is a map of Nob, and what you can do. Remember in social studies, there's a scale at the bottom, and that scale is 10 miles. That scale is 10 miles, and I did it with my little paper. You get your scale, and you put your scale up from Nob to, you see that city Ramah? Because David was in Ramah, and then he left him with the Nob. Can you see that?
Hold on. I messed it up. Okay. Yes.
So everyone sees David was in Ramah, and then he went to Nob. Can you see that?
Can you put your cursor there?
Right here.
Okay.
You have to blow it up.
Yeah, I blow it up. Let me see.
And this is just off, you can just say Google Bible Maps and put the city you want, Bible Maps, and it'll come up. So David was in Ramah, hiding in the woods for 3 days, and now 1 Samuel 21:1 says, and he went to Nob. So I did it, my handwriting is not that good. My guesstimation is Ramah to Nob is about 3 to 4 miles. So he left, so now we got our time frame. Jonathan said in the morning. So now we're the third day of the month. The third day of the month, Jonathan confirms, yeah, my dad wants you dead. So now, 1 Samuel 21:1, David says, I'm out of here. I'm going to Nob. So their understanding is that it's the third day of the month, and it's still the third day of the month. What I'm going to present is he's traveling, I say 4 miles. It's possible to walk 4 miles in a day, right? But we got to look at everything. He's on the run from the king. More than likely, he wouldn't travel a day, right? He'll wait till night. If he's smart, David ain't stupid. So Jonathan comes to him on day 3 and confirms, my dad wants you dead. Now 21 says, then came David